right, guys, so back on C, I have done the y values evaluating that. Just note that the endpoints are -5, 0 and 4, 13/2 minus pi/2, because we did up through 0 was 9/2, and then we took the area of that rectangle and we subtracted away from it the semicircle, so that's where the +2, that's a rectangle, minus subtracting away from it the area of that semicircle. Okay, so we got 13/2 minus pi/2. So when you think about it in general, when we're talking about the absolute min, we've got 13/2 minus pi/2, so that's like 6.5 minus 13, pi is 3.14 divided by 2, so like 1.5-ish, so 6.5 minus like 1.5, that's not going to give me a negative number. So my absolute minimum is, and it's the y value we're giving, -1. All right, and if you have to justify your answer because you checked the CPs and the EPs, and -1 is the absolute minimum of those. All right, last one, find all of the x values in the open interval at which the graph of G has a point of inflection. Ooh, I love this one. Point of inflection. Whoa, I love it so much I'm crossing it out. All right, point of inflection. Whoa, I just keep crossing them out. I'm not going to help myself much with this one. All right, so point of inflection. For that, it's going to be G double prime. And the key thing with points of inflection, G double prime has to change signs. All right, that's the big thing with points of inflection point. All right, so we're talking about the slope because it's the derivative of this graph. So where does the slope change signs? It changes signs. Hold on one second. People, let me get rid of this stuff going on the graph so that we're not confused by other stuff going on. All right, so it changes signs. My slope, once again, changes signs right there. At 0, it goes from a negative slope to a negative slope. So yeah, the second derivative doesn't exist there, so the derivative of this graph doesn't exist, but it doesn't change signs because it goes from a negative to a negative. So we're not going to use 0. Then at 1, it changes from a negative slope to a positive slope. And then the last one is at 2. The slope changes from being a positive slope to a negative slope. So we've got 3 points of inflection. So my points of inflection are x equals, and now just to refresh our memory, -3, 1, and 2. 1 and 2. And that is because G double prime changes signs. Okay, so that's my explanation for that. All right, and that is it with that graphical analysis.